Sadnam, everyone. Welcome. Waheguru Ji Ka Khalsa, Waheguru Ji Ki Fateh. We are here today for another episode in our ongoing series, Learn-a-Shabad. And we'll be focusing on the Shabad, Gur Kee Banee Sio Laeh. And this is a Shabad by Guru Arjan, which is fitting as we're coming up next week to the celebration of the birthday or Gurpurb of Guru Arjan Dev. So those of you who are arriving while I'm talking, please go ahead and put your name and where you're logged in from in the comments section. And I'm going to share this. Welcome, Jesse. Okay. So I've just put into the comments area a link where you can find a lyric sheet, a word sheet, a Shabad sheet, if you will, with all the words for this particular Shabad, both in Gurmukhi and in the transliteration for English speakers. And also there's a translation on that sheet too. And then also at that link you will find a sheet that will show you the notation for the melody that we're going to be using today. And so you may want to get those, download them, probably maybe even print them out if you're going to follow along with us, but you may be able to just reference them on your computer too. So I apologize for all this stuff in the way, but this is the only way that I can actually show you the keyboard while I'm playing and while I'm talking. So at least for that part of the program, we'll need that, and then later I can move it out of the way. So while we're waiting for more people to arrive, let me just outline the way we're going to go through this today. If you've been following any of the other episodes in this program, Learn-a-Shabad, you'll know that what I usually do is I go through the Shabad line by line, going through the pronunciation, and then going through the meaning of the Shabad. And then I get to take you through learning a melody. And for those of you who are new to learning Shabads, learning Shabad Guru and how to sing it or chant it, you should understand that this is just one melody. There can be many, many melodies used for any Shabad. And so today is just one. And it's one that I have played often, and I regard it as a kind of favorite in some ways, because the melody, especially for Western ears, is very engaging, I think, and gets people singing, which is the whole point of playing a Shabad in a gathering, is to try to encourage the Sangat, those who are gathered in the congregation, to sing along. Gurbani Kirtan, as I've probably said to you before, is really about engagement, creating an energy together with the people that are gathered. And it's not so much a performance where the musicians are just performing and the audience is listening. It's really interactive. And I think that this comes from a long tradition of bhakti, of devotional singing from India, often done with a call and answer, where the musician might call out the line, and then the congregation would sing the same line right after. And so you'll see that done a lot in gurdwaras and in gatherings where people are doing Gurbani Kirtan. So, while this keeps volume going up. While I'm talking, you'll want to download that sheet and take a look at it. I'm going to go through it now, and I'm going to bring it up on the screen so you'll be able to see it at the same time. But just if you have the time to download that, it'll be something you'll want. So let me share with you that document. Yep, wrong one. Hold on. There we go. And I'm going to momentarily get rid of the banner right there. Yeah, good. Okay, and welcome to those of you who have just arrived. Welcome Judith and Mohan Sangeet, all regulars to this program. Perhaps some of you who are listening haven't had a chance to do this, but we would appreciate it if you could take a moment to put your name and where you're logged in from in the comments section, whether you're on YouTube or on Facebook, either one. That'll be very helpful for us to understand the reach we're getting today. All right, so let's look at this, this Shabad. So the repeat line is actually not showing on this screen at the moment. Let me just change that. So there's the repeat line, slightly indented from the rest of the Shabad. Gur Kee Banee Sio Laeh, Gur Kirpal Hoy Dukh Jai. And so that's the repeating line or chorus line. And we're going to start at the top of the sheet and look at the pronunciation of the words at the top, and then we'll go straight down the sheet and take it line by line. So I will say a phrase, and then you can say it after me. And obviously, if you are very familiar with Gurbani, with reading Gurmukhi, then this particular section of the class may not be as empowering. But for a lot of people who are new to this, I'm hoping that by hearing the words said aloud, you'll be able to match your sound to these words that for most of you are not familiar. Okay, so this first line, Satguru Apna, now you say, Satguru Apna, Sadasada Samare, Sadasada Samare. And let's do that again. Satguru Apna, now you, Satguru Apna, Sadasada Samare, now you, Sadasada Samare. Good. Now let's do the line all together. Well, I'll say it, then you say it, but the phrases put together. Satguru Apna Sadasada Samare. Now you. Satguru Apna Sadasada Samare. Good. All right, let's go on to the next line. We'll come back and look at the meaning, but let's go on to the next line in terms of pronunciation. Gur Kee Charan, now you. Gur Kee Charan, and again. Gur Kee Charan, Gur Kee Charan. Kesa Sangha Jare, Kesa Sangha Jare, and again. Kesa Sangha Jare, Kesa Sangha Jare. Now, you may be noticing that I'm tending to put a little ah sound in between case and sung, because often when there's a word that ends with a consonant and then the next word starts with a consonant, it's often easier to allow the ah sound as a kind of bridge, especially when you put this to music. There is a tendency to want to make it flow, and so that's why you'll hear those ahs creeping in here and there, and it's not a mistake, it's just a stylistic, and it's allowed to a certain degree. So that whole line, if we look at it, I'll say it and then you say it. Gur Kee Charan Kesa Sangha Jare. Now you. Gur Kee Charan Kesa Sangha Jare. And I should point out that case can sometimes be pronounced kesh. This is somewhat of a regional difference, but it means the same thing. Let's look at the next line, pronunciation. This is perhaps my favorite line, but we'll get into that when we talk about the meaning. Jagare man. Now you. Jagare man. Jagare man. Jagare man. And then the second half of the line, Jaganahare. Now you. Jaganahare. So let's put this together. Jagare man jaganahare. Now you. Jagare man jaganahare. Very good. I would just want to check the comments. I'm not able to see them at the moment, but I will. All right. Well, welcome to those of you who have joined. Anita, Shantjit, and Angel, and Maria, Leda, and Lorena. So welcome to you all. Nice to see where you're logged in from. I don't think we've had anyone from Liechtenstein before, so welcome, Maria. And Pasadena, great, and Maui, wonderful, Netherlands. I used to live in Princeton, so everybody's welcome today. It's great. All right, so let's get back to pronouncing these words. So the next line, a little longer than most of the others. Bin har avara. Now you say. Bin har avara. Good. Again. Bin har avara. And you. Bin har avara. Na avasakama. Now you. Na avasakama. And again. Na avasakama. And you. Na avasakama. Chutamo. Now you. Chutamo. And then the next part. Mitya pasare. Now you. Mitya pasare. Now let's put this whole line together, but I think we'll do it first half and half. So follow along. Bina hara avara na avasakama. Now you. Bina hara avara na avasakama. And then the second half of the line. Chutamo mitya pasare. Now you. Chutamo mitya pasare. Good. And now the repeating line that the Shabad uses is the next line. Gur Kee Banee. Now you say that. Gur Kee Banee. And again, Gur Kee Banee. And you. Gur Kee Banee. Sio Rangalai. Sio Rangalai. And again, Sio Rangalai. And you, Sio Rangalai. And then the next, let's put that all together, okay? Gur Kee Banee Sio Rangalai. Now you. Gur Kee Banee Sio Rangalai. Excellent. And this next line on the repeating lines. Gur Kirpal Hoy Duka Jai. Now, let's, sorry, I should have divided that in half. So let's do the first part. Gur Kirpal, now you. Gur Kirpal. And the second half, Hoy Duka Jai. Hoy Duka Jai. All together, Gur Kirpal Hoy Dukha Jai. Now you. Gur Kirpal Hoy Dukha Jai. Excellent. Now, if I'm going too fast for some of you, just know that the recording for this program will be available after we finish today, and you can always go back and replay a part of this where you're trying to really pick up the pronunciation on these. Okay, as we look at the next line, Gura bin Duja. Now you. Gura bin Duja. And again, Gura bin Duja. And you. Gura bin Duja. Sorry. Nahi Taung. Now you. Nahi Taung. And again, Nahi Taung. And you, Nahi Taung. And putting it all together, Gura bin Duja Nahi Taung. Now you, Gura bin Duja Nahi Taung. Good. And now we go on to the next line, Guru Datta. Now you say it, Guru Datta. And again, Guru Datta. Now you, Guru Datta. Guru Deva now. Now you. Guru Deva now. And now let's put it all together. Guru Datta, Guru Deva now. Now you. Guru Datta, Guru Deva now. Good. And the last two lines. Guru Pada Brahm. Okay, now you. Guru Pada Brahm. Parameswar Aap. Parameswar Aap. That word might be a little tricky for you. Parameswar. Parameswar. Now you say it. Parameswar. Good. So that last segment of this line is Parameswar Aap. Now you say it. Parameswar Aap. And now let's put that all together. Guru Pada Brahm Parameswar Aap. Guru Pada Brahm Parameswar Aap. Good. And the last line, At Pahar Nanak Guru Jap. I think you could do that. At Pahar Nanak Guru Jap. At Pahar Nanak Guru Jap. One more time. At Pahar Nanak Guru Jap. All right. So now you've got the pronunciation on all these lines. I mean, some of you may be still struggling with it, and that's understandable. I think the main thing is that you start practicing it, you start saying it, and you start listening to how your sound matches the sound on this recording, and slowly it'll start to sink in. All right, so let's now look at the meaning of this Shabad. And I want to go first to the repeat line, because this is kind of the theme for this use of the Shabad. So by repeating this line over and over, it's bringing emphasis to this meaning. And so, Gur Kee Banee Sio Laeh. Embrace love for the word of the Guru's Bani. So, very simple message. You know, the word, the Bani of the Guru is where we want to put our devotion to the experience of Bani, to the experience of Nam. You know, Bani and Nam, they are almost virtually the same thing, and it relates to, yes, the words of the Guru, but it also relates to an experience of being in communion with that divine energy of the Guru. So when the Guru is close, where we feel that experience within us, that is Nam, that is the Banee. So by repeating the Banee, we can gain that experience within our psyche. And it starts to move our monkey mind to the side. We get into the recitation of the sound current, the nod of the Banee, of the Gur Banee, and it transforms our consciousness. So this line is simply saying, embrace this, notice it, allow yourself to experience with love, not out of harsh discipline. The Guru isn't here with a stick telling us to keep repeating. It's about our own yearning of the heart to connect through our own dedication, our own practice, to opening to experience the presence, the darshan of the Guru in the moment that we're reciting these words, this Banee. So that's the message. The second half of this repeating line goes, Guru Kirpal Hoye Dukha Jai. When the Guru shows his mercy, pain is destroyed, or you don't notice it, basically, because you're connecting to that upliftment of the Guru's presence. So that's the main repeating lines. And so now let's look at what we in the West might call verse lines. So these first two lines go together as a verse. And you can often see that in the Gurmukhi, or even in the transliteration here, where the number 1 comes. So when there's a couplet like this, they rhyme. So the first line, Sataguru Apana Sadasada Samare, and then the second line, Guru Ke Charan Kesa Sangajare. So they're both ending with that A sound in that it connects them together as a rhyming couplet. And they often have a connected message too. So in this first line, Sataguru Apana Sadasada Samares. Sadasad meaning to ever repeat. So the line is saying, I contemplate ever, over and over, forever, repeating and contemplating on the Banee, the Guru's Banee, the true Guru. And then the second half of the line says, and that it's referring to how it makes me filled with humility, so much so that I would use my hair to dust the feet of the Guru if those feet were present here. So it's really a comment on how much we get connected to that place of humility with the presence of Banee, with the presence of the Guru. So the next line is a little unusual because it's constructed in a way that it's very short, and musically when we sing this, we're going to take this little segment, Jagare Mana Jaganahare. We're going to take that and then repeat it as the second half of the line. Repeating things is never a problem with Gur Banee, taking a line and then just repeating it over and over. That's never an issue. If you're motivated, if you're inspired by a line, yes, repeat it, not a problem. But here, because of the musical construction, as we get into that part of it, you'll see that this line then has to be repeated twice. But then the next part of this, and it all gets sung together before you go back to the chorus, the next part is this Binahara Avara Na Avasa, Binahara Avara Na Avasakama Chuta Mo Mityapasari. So this line, the meaning of Jagare Mana Jaganahare. Be wakeful, O my awakening mind. And that's why I mentioned earlier, this is one of my favorite lines from Gur Banee, because God knows I need it. I need the Guru's Banee to remind me to be wakeful, to be alert. It's very easy when you get into a devotional practice to just let it happen and space out, and lose your focus. And okay, so maybe that's fine under certain conditions. But if you are ever the person who is leading the music, leading the chanting, the singing, then you can't afford to be completely disengaged. You have to stay connected. And so for me, it always reminds me, yes, this is your task in this moment. Sure, connect to the devotion, but also stay focused on keeping the rhythm, keeping the words, keeping the music happening the way it needs to. And so, this is just a reminder for me, be alert, right? And then the second part of this line, Binahara avaran avasakama chut mo mitya pasare. Chuta mo mitya pasare. So without the Guru, without the presence of the Guru, without the, as the translation says here, without God, without the divine, nothing else shall be of use to us. In other words, we can struggle, we can work hard, but unless we can align to the divine, then it will all just wash away when we are done with this life, So false is emotional attachment, and useless are worldly entanglements. I know this is a hard one to really embrace, but it is ultimately where you get to when you really immerse yourself in this experience of Banee, of having the Nam really intimate within your being. Then all those other things start to mean less and less. And sure, we will attend to them because of our duties in this life, but not to put them as the highest, as the most important things. So let's go on. Okay, so now we're going to go past the repeating line, Gur Kee Banee, and go to these next couple of lines. Guru bina duja nahi tau, Guru data Guru deve now. So without the Guru, there is no other place of rest. And there is great truth in that when you have no connection to the divine, then there is little chance that you will actually find peace. So the line goes on, the Guru is the giver, and the Guru gives the name. And so we relate to the source of this experience coming through the Guru, through that which takes us from dark to light. And in this path we relate to the Shabad Guru, the word of the Guru being the empowerment itself, that we connect to that Shabad Guru in the moment of reciting, and that it gives us that experience that takes us beyond the worldly, mundane, and that is the gift of the Guru in this moment. And then the last two lines, Guru Parabrahm Parameswar Aap At Bahar Nanak Guru Jap. And here Guru Arjan is saying, the Guru is the Supreme Lord God, Parameswar, and He Himself is the transcendent Lord. At Bahar Nanak Guru Jap. 24 hours a day, O Nanak, may I meditate on this experience, this awareness, this connection. May I keep this connection alive within me. So this is the meaning of the Shabad, and I'm going to take you through the musical notation here just momentarily. So I want to welcome a few more people who have arrived from Brandon and Sita Bhakti from Germany and Lorena. So welcome to all of you. And Lorena, I hope you understood that I just spent the last 10 minutes going through the meaning, line by line, for the Shabad. So I hope that answers your question that you're asking. Oh, I see. You're asking specifically what Banee is. And so I did describe that. And so I hope that answers your question. Anyway, so let's go on now to the musical notation. And that is right here. So if you are familiar with how classical Indian music notates a melody, then this sheet will be familiar to you. If you have never done that before, then this sheet may seem very strange and even non-decipherable. So what I want to explain, I can't take time to teach the whole system to you now, but what I want to explain to you is that in the, let me see, make myself visible here, hold on. Maybe here? That'll work. Okay. So in the top row of the notation sheet, you have 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. So this Shabad, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. This Shabad is in a rhythmic pattern of 8 beats. So that's why those numbers are there. And the notation has been divided into 4 beats and 4 beats, just to make it easier to see. In the second line where it says notes, then you have these letters, S, G, P, and so forth. Well, this relates to the system of a scale in the Indian music system where you go, the first note is Sa, and you have a word for each, a name for each of the other notes in the scale. Sa, re, ga, ma, pa, da, ni, sa. Or in this case, we're starting down here. Sa, re, ga, ma, pa, da, ni, sa. Like that. And so that's a scale. And so those letters refer, I don't know why that volume keeps going up. These letters refer to one of those notes. And so then the third line is the actual words that we're singing. So as you see in that first measure, that first segment, we've got 2 beats where it is rest, and then Gur Kee, so that's Sa, Ga, and then into the next measure we have Ba for Gur Kee Banee, and it goes to Pa. So if this is foreign to you, I can't take more time to really explain it to you, but you may want to download this and start to work with it, do some investigation online about this Sa Re Ga Ma, and get a little more familiar with it, and then this sheet will certainly make more sense to you. So let me go through the melody, and if you are looking at the sheet, great. If you are not looking at the sheet and you just want to focus on the melody, that's fine. I'm going to bring the harmonium into full view so you can see how this plays out. Okay, so let me move this aside. All right. So this melody, the way I sing it, starts here on what is in Western music known as C sharp. This is where I often set my Sa, which is determined by my vocal range. So you might find that works, or maybe a lot of women, for instance, have a lower Sa down here. I know that doesn't sound, why would they be lower? Well, they're actually singing an octave higher. So they actually would be singing here. Sa, re, ga, ma, pa, da. Yeah, so that's too high for me, but the women may find that works. So anyway, this is so frustrating that this volume keeps going up. Anyway, okay. So that's where we're starting for this melody. If you find that it goes too high, then you will, as I say, want to set it down here, and you will need to figure it out. I can show you quickly, but, and I'll do that at the end here. But for now, we're going to just focus on where this melody is today. So this is Sa. This is the number 1 note in the 8-note scale. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Now, actually today in this scale, we have a flatted 7th. And there's your 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay? So, Sa, Re, Ga, Ma, Pa, Da, Ni, Sa. Good. So in the first part of the melody, we play the notes of what's called a major scale, or a major chord, actually, a major chord, or triad. 1, 3, 5. Gur Kee Banee, Gur Kee Banee. Then it goes on. Sio, Sio, goes there to the knee. Sio rang Laeh, Sio rang Laeh. Let's do that again. Gur Kee Banee, Sio rang Laeh. Then the next part is Gur Kee Banee, Hoe duk jai, Gur kirpal, Hoe duk jai, Hoe duk jai. Now see the whole thing together. Gur Kee Banee, Sio rang Laeh, Gur kirpal, Hoe duk jai. Gur Kee Banee, Sio rang Laeh, Gur kirpal, Hoe duk jai. Okay, so that's the first part of the melody. And if you have questions or you're not understanding something, you need me to repeat something, go ahead and put it in the comments. But for the time being, I'm seeing that nobody's doing that, so I'm going to keep going. So now that we go to the verse line, in the style of Gurbani Kirtan, it's often that we sing the repeat line several times. And then as we go into singing one or many of the verse lines, then it's common that the melody of the verse line is played instrumentally, or a variation of the verse line is played just instrumentally. So like this. Now we sing. Satgur apna sad sad samare, Gur ke charana kesh sang jare. Now we'll break that down. So it goes, Satgur apna, that's all on one note. Satgur apna, sad sad samare, sad sad samare. Now the next part. Gur Kee Banee. Do it again. Gur Kee Banee. Kesha Sang Jari. Kesha Sang Jari. Now, if you look at the, if you're following along in the Shabad sheet notation, you'll notice that there is a third part. I know I'm very small, and you're not even seeing me. Hold on. But it's okay. There is a third part. Here we go. There is a third part right here where this is an alternative ending. And so what I mean by that is that after you've done the verse line, and you're going to be coming back to the chorus, then after you're singing Satgur, where are we? Sorry. Kesha Sangajari. So, Kesha Sangajari. Now you've done that a few times. Now you're ready to go back to the chorus. Kesha Sangajari. Kesha Sangajari. And now you're back ready to do the chorus. Gur Kee Banee Sio Laeh, Gur Kee Banee Hoye Dukh Jaye. Now, what I was saying about that next line, that it repeats twice, Jagare Mana Jaganahare. So after you've done the chorus, then you're coming into the next line. Jagare Mana Jaganahare, Jagare Mana Jaganahare. So not only do we sing that line up here, Jagare Mana Jaganahare, but then we repeat it with the other part of the melody. Jagare Mana Jaganahare. Now we go on. Binhar avarana avasakama chutamo mityapasare. And then repeat it again. And then after mityapasare, mityapasare, Gur Kee Banee, and so forth. So I have shown you now, let me pull this into there. So I've shown you how to play this on the keyboard. I was going to show you the lower melody keys. And I don't play it down here, but this is probably what it will look like. Gur Kee Banee Sio Laeh, Gur Kee Banee Hoye Dukh Jaye. Let's try it again. Gur Kee Banee Sio Laeh, Gur Kee Banee Hoye Dukh Jaye. Satgur apna sad sad samare, Gur Kee Charan, sorry, Gur Kee Charan, Kesha Sang Jare, Gur Kee Kesha Sang Jare, Kesha Sang Jare. So that's just another tuning, or another place where you can put the, that's not what I want to do. Let's try this. There we go. Where you can put the melody lower, if that is better for your voice. So actually I'm going to hide the keyboard because we're not going to need it for a while, for the rest of the class, I think. But I do want to know if you have any questions about the music, about the meaning, about the pronunciation, any of that. And I'm looking and I don't see any, so I don't know what that means, except that maybe you're thinking you've got it all, that you don't have any questions, which is fine. I am definitely hoping that that's the case, because I prepare this class with the idea that what would I want to learn about this if I was learning from the beginning. And I will tell you that, yes, I did study this way initially, with someone showing me the keyboard, showing me even writing out the notation perhaps on some Shabads. But eventually I didn't need that. And I was able to just hear a melody and then find where that was on the keyboard. And maybe it wasn't in a range that was suitable for my voice, but I would learn it there, even though it was straining my voice, and then I would transpose it to another place where it was better for my voice. So that's something that each of you would want to do at some point. Identifying where your vocal range is very helpful, so that you don't end up singing out of your range. And we all do it sometimes, especially if we're emotionally charged to reach for that high note or that low note even. But it isn't always as successful. And by success, what I mean to say is that when we are leading the kirtan, when we are leading the singing, the goal is to make it smooth, without little hiccups, without little mistakes. So you want to make sure that your voice can hit all the notes wherever you put that, set that melody to work for you. So that's important, is that you don't just hear it one way and get stuck with that. You don't have to play it the way it was on a recording. You can put it to another place in the scale if that helps you feel more confident and comfortable with your voice. So that's important. I see a few more people. Billy, I guess, is from Colombia, and Gulzan, welcome. Nice to see you. So as you see along the bottom of the screen, next week I'll be doing a special class in the series The Roots of Sikh Dharma, about the life and legacy of Guru Arjan. Guru Arjan was the 5th Sikh Guru, and he was very important for lots of reasons. The most notable would be that he created the Adi Granth, which was the precursor to what we now call the Sri Guru Granth Sahib. And it was where he compiled the writings of all the previous 4 gurus, along with many compositions of his own. He was very prolific and a powerful poet. By that I mean his use of rhyme and his use of rhythmic power in the words is very well refined. And so of all the poetry in the Siddhi Guru Granth Sahib, his is some of the most outstanding. And just from a simply poetic point of view. But he also was, bringing in the writings of other saints and recognized mystic poets of the time. And so there are compositions written by Namdev and by Kabir, just to name two, and there are others. So he put together this compilation that was very important. As I say, later it evolved into, or was added to by Guru Gobind Singh, and it became what we now call the Siddhi Guru Granth Sahib. So it was a very important accomplishment of Guru Arjan that he did that. So I'll be talking about Guru Arjan next week. And then SDI, Sikh Dharma International, will also be creating a special program where we're going to release a video of some of our most well-known community musicians singing a Shabad composed by Guru Arjan. So each day we will release a different video, and some of them have never been seen before. So that should be something to look out for. And what else can I tell you about? That's it for the time being. I would hope that if you are on Facebook, you will like this program, and also on Facebook, you will share the link. And for people who may be interested in learning a Shabad that they may not know, this is a good resource for beginners especially. So I hope that helps. No questions. No questions. All right. Well, we're a little early. I'll just play the whole Shabad through so you can see it, and maybe that will help you. Also, getting some of the phrasing on the words will help you. So let me shift over to here so you can see me playing on the keyboard. Gur Kee Banee Sio Laeh, Gur Kee Banee Hoye duk jaye, Gur Kee Banee Sio Laeh, Gur Kee Satgur apna sad sad samare, Gur ke charan kesh sang jare, jagre man, Gur ke charan kesh sang jare, Gur ke charan kesh sang jare, kesh sang jare, Gur Kee Banee Sio Laeh, Gur Kee Hoye duk jaye. Jagre jagnhare jagne man jagnhare bin har avan na avas kama utamo nitya pasari jutamo nitya pasari nitya pasari Gur Kee Banee Sio Laeh Gur Kee Banee Hoye dukan jaye Gur bin tuja naita Gur tata Gur temena Gur param Parmeshwar aap Atpar Nanak Gur Jap Atpar Nanak Gur Jap Nanak Gur Jap Gur Kee Banee Sio Laeh Gur Kee Banee Hoye dukan jaye 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 Gur Kee Banee Sio Laeh Gur Kee Banee Hoye dukan jaye Okay, Lorena is asking, what is the effect of the Shabad? Well, I would say I don't know exactly if it has a particular effect. I know that there are some Shabads where you can find a reference to that. There is a publication called Psyche of the Golden Shield where there are many Shabads listed. I don't remember if this is in there. But certainly the effect of this Shabad could be really linked to this idea that you're embracing the Guru's Bani with love so that pain is destroyed, difficulty is destroyed. So the effect might be said to be clearing away the difficulties in your life. And I always feel that way, I think, when I sing this, is that anything is possible, there aren't any restrictions, there's ease in life when you sing the Shabad. So I think that's really possibly the best way to think about the effect. But you may want to look it up if you can find that publication, see if this is in there. Otherwise, thank you all for being here today. Please like this program, share it, and we will see you next week with the program about the life and legacy of Guru Arjan. And in the meantime, please stay safe, stay healthy, and be blessed. Waheguru Ji Ka Khalsa, Waheguru Ji Ki Fateh. Satnam.